Now, from the company that fuses science and innovation comes powerful new breakthroughs in performance supplementation. No2 Red, only from MRI. Get prepared to defy limits. In 2002, MRI created No2 and unleashed the awesome power of nitric oxide to the sport nutrition world. Over the years, many companies have attempted to mimic the power of No2. None have managed to achieve it. No2. We unleashed it. We perfected it. We own it. Introducing our most powerful and complete No2 product to date. 6-phase nitric oxide activation helps trigger intense vascularity, targets damaged muscles to repair and rebuild. mTOR activation helps generate muscle density and hardness. Hemobolic compounds help switch on new muscle formation. Now, let's take a closer look at some of these incredible effects. It all starts with the power of nitric oxide multiplication. 6 phases of nitric oxide activation yield an incredible 1,250% more nitric oxide. That's 300% more nitric oxide than we have ever achieved. 300% more nitric oxide to fuel skin-ripping pumps, growth, strength, and recovery. First, we feed the nitric oxide generating system with premium nitric oxide fuel, including arginine AKG, arginine HCl, arginine pyroglutamate, and arginine ketoisocaproate. Next, we help your body to produce its own source of nitric oxide fuel with a healthy dose of L-citrulline, a precursor to L-arginine. This helps to prime your body with another source of nitric oxide fuel for optimal saturation. Once nitric oxide fuel is flowing, we help to prolong its availability with sustained release technology Filex9. With Filex9, L-arginine is introduced into the system over time, yielding the potential for longer nitric oxide production and prolonged hemodilating effects in the body. Now, once we have arginine pumping into the system, we upregulate the nitric oxide generating factories called NOS with ActiNOS2, a highly functional whey peptide fraction. NOS enzymes are responsible for converting arginine into muscle-fueling nitric oxide. More NOS equals more nitric oxide, 950% more to be exact. Once nitric oxide molecules are generated, powerful compounds help to keep them biologically active for longer. You see, nitric oxide molecules are usually very short-lived. This greatly limits the extent of their effects in the body. By protecting the nitric oxide molecules themselves, they may remain active for an extended period of time, which may prolong their biological effects. Finally, components in No2 Red may help increase nitric oxide up to 300% more than we have previously been able to achieve. Now, we have smashed our long-standing barrier of 950% to reach an incredible 1,250% increase in nitric oxide. The 6 phases of nitric oxide activation are just the beginning of the power housed within No2 Red. No2 Red delivers potent nutrients that promote intense hemobolic effects. Hemobolic is a term that means the channeling of growth-inducing nutrients to their DNA receptors through the power of No2 core technology. To understand what hemobolic nutrients do requires a quick look at DNA itself. DNA holds the complete code for cellular and genetic information. In other words, DNA contains all of the information that makes you, you. When cells replicate, the information that is passed from one cell to the next is contained within DNA. During this process, DNA splits to form a copy. This is how the complete genetic code from one cell is passed to the next, providing the new cell with all of the information it needs to function. However, the process of cell replication does not occur without a cost. In order to understand why, we need to take a look at telomeres. Telomeres are protective structures located at the very tips of DNA strands. Telomeres function something like the plastic caps on the end of a shoelace. As you have certainly experienced, the caps on the shoelaces degrade over time. Eventually, the plastic caps disintegrate completely. Then the shoelaces themselves begin to fray and unravel. Each time a cell replicates, its DNA splits to form a copy. This transfers vital information from one cell to the next. However, each time DNA splits, its telomeres tend to shorten. Eventually, after generations of cellular copies, the telomeres disintegrate completely and can no longer protect DNA. Then, the DNA itself begins to disassemble, resulting in a progressive loss of genetic information. Maybe an analogy would help to demonstrate this process. When you make a copy of a picture, the first generation copy looks pretty good. However, if you make a copy of the copy, the second generation copy won't look quite as crisp. Now, if you keep making copies of copies, eventually the end result becomes completely unrecognizable. The reason for this is that for every copy, just a bit of information is lost. So, a copy of a degraded image will result in even more loss of information, and so on. Make sense? Now, as previously mentioned, No2 Red delivers powerful hemobolic nutrients. This image represents the process of cell replication over generations of copies with and without No2 Red. At the top, we start out with a healthy, viable cell. The cell replicates, and small bits of vital information are lost. After many generations of copies, you can see that unprotected telomeres may result in far more cellular degradation than what may occur through the hemobolic power in No2 Red. In simple terms, hemobolic nutrients in No2 Red may help you build muscle more efficiently now and help you keep more of your hard-earned gains for longer as muscle cells remain more intact. When the researchers at MRI were developing No2 Red, they wanted to produce our most powerful No2 formula yet for supporting the development of dense hard muscle tissue. For this reason, they incorporated nutrients that support mTOR activation. mTOR is a sensor that acts as a biochemical switch, ensuring that adequate supplies of energy and nutrients are available to support cell growth and cell metabolism. In simple terms, mTOR flips the switch that initiates the production of new proteins. In muscle cells, that means the production of muscle-repairing and growth-specific proteins. So, here's the bottom line. The technologies in No2 Red are formulated to support efficient muscle growth, optimal recovery, and preservation of your hard-earned gains, plus powerful repair and rebuilding of muscle cell machinery so you can stay in the game. Experience the incredible power of No2 Red, available exclusively at GNC.